Move on to question number 4, and I call upon the Honourable Member for Middle, Mr Peters again.
Thank you, Mr President. Another question for the Infrastructure Minister. What cost-benefit analysis is being undertaken of A, the replacement of railway bridges for active travel, and B, routine highway maintenance?
Minister for Infrastructure to reply.
Thank you very much. The replacement of railway bridges forms part of the St John's to Kirkmichael refurbishment of the Heritage Trail. The Douglas to Peel works have successfully revitalised the route by providing a good surface and a continuous route at a gentle gradient. Business cases were submitted for funding the improvement of the St John's to Kirkmichael railway line, which identified the scheme costs and the qualitative benefits, including active travel, health and tourism. In relation to routine highway maintenance, revenue funding is significantly lower in real terms compared with 15 years ago. My department has submitted a number of funding bids for increased revenue or capital allocations based on cost-benefit analysis showing the costs of different maintenance strategies. These reflect the most efficient whole-life cost, but does not include other benefits that raising the overall condition or level of a service may bring to roads users. A recent report identified that spending of approximately £5.5 million a year of planned maintenance on overlays, surface dressing and micro-asphalt is proposed for the carriageway to maintain its current condition, and the Department has been working with Treasury as part of its strategic infrastructure needs assessment in a bid to ensure sustainable but prioritised maintenance of the highway network. Other revenue maintenance spending is used for defect ratification, drainage works, ditching, hedge cutting, sweeping, structural maintenance, mining, gritting and routine maintenance of the public rights-of-way and the green lanes to keep the network as safe and as usable and as resilient as possible. Thank you, Mr President.
Supplementary, Mr Peters.
Thank you, Mr President. Does the Minister agree with me and many taxpayers that active travel is an option for a few hardy souls rather than an alternative means of transport for the many, as it only benefits a small number of road users, whilst the timely maintenance of our road network affects us all and should be given a much higher priority?
Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr President. I understand where the honourable member is coming from, and certainly after the last question, I understand sort of motorists over the last 10 years probably at least, if not longer, have felt really hard done by with road tax, with the state of the roads, the cost of fuel and all sorts of things. But this active travel is an education here. I have to be careful what I'm saying because there's obviously huge or big budgets in here, but I absolutely understand that we should be, first and foremost, more people are using the roads and that. But we're on a long journey here with active travel, and we need to give people the ability to walk, cycle, into work or even during the weekends and evenings and things. But I absolutely understand where the honourable member is coming from.
Supplementary, Lauder.
Thank you. Would the Minister accept that these two bridge schemes that referred to in the question were actually never had any Tynwald support? They were slipped into column 2 of the budget and have never really been tested. And would he accept that, in light of the comments that we had from the Transport Commissioner for Manchester last week, that there is perhaps a better way of assessing the cost-benefit analysis of some of these active travel schemes in terms of where they're going to benefit multiple road users and not just pedestrians and cyclists? But I say that as speaking as a professional pedestrian myself.
Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr President. As the member who's taken over responsibility for the highways and for active travel in the department, I will be reviewing the whole of the active travel process over the next couple of months just to see exactly where we are. I will absolutely come back to this honourable court and to honourable members and take their views on board. The cost of the bridges, in fact, Mr Speaker, it's 3 bridges, not 2. It's all right.
It's too far.
Yeah. But yes, I do give that I will come back to this honourable court and probably do a presentation at some stage with regards to active travel, because there are fors and against on both sides of that, and we need to make sure we know both sides.
Supplementary, Mr Morehouse.
Thank you, Mr President. Could the Minister provide an update on the active transport bridges in the north and whether, as Minister, is happy with this spend to continue?
Minister to reply.
I'm not aware of any bridges in the north, Mr President.
The bridge, sorry, the bridges
Mr
that are
Morehouse,
referred
would
to
you
in
like to
the question.
clarify what bridge?
The bridges that are referred to in the question for active travel, sorry.
Sorry, still no.
The Kirkmichael one, sorry.
Michael one.
Honourable members, I think we'll just resume your seat, Minister. If you want to compose your question, I'll let you have an opportunity to ask that later. So we'll move on to supplementary, Mr Peters.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can the Minister explain if there is a usable online resource that people can use to find out if and when their road is scheduled for maintenance and the scope of such work, and if not, will he consider publishing one?
Minister to reply.
Thank you. There are on the website, on the department's website, planned maintenance schemes on there. I'm not sure how far down the list they go as regards to if we get down to estates and things, but I'm certainly happy to. In fact, I have asked for a comprehensive list from the department in the last couple of days, so I'm happy to extend that to honourable members as well.
Supplementary, Mrs Corlett.
Thank you, Mr President. My question is very similar to the last one, actually. I'd like to ask the Minister, does he intend to put a phased all-island plan in place to repair and maintain roads? And would he consider publishing a plan with a timescale attached? Thank you.
Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr President. As I said, there is a list of probably works for a couple of years, but obviously we get emergencies that chip in there. And to try and do a list for the whole of the island, I think you'd be looking, I don't know how many years we've got, well over 600 miles of roads. But those that need, there is a list of those that need work doing on them, and I'm happy to let members have that. And if there's any dates attached to those as to when we expect to do that work, obviously those will go with the roads that need work doing to them.
Supplementary, Mr Thomas.
Thank you, Mr President, and I welcome the news from the Minister that he'll be making a presentation with information about active travel. Does the Minister agree with me that his predecessor, Minister Baker, rather confused the definition of active travel by even suggesting that these three-bridge project Heritage Trail was active travel, because as defined in the Active Travel Strategy 2018-2021, the purpose and the definition of active travel is to encourage people to be able to choose to make regular, everyday journeys by more active means, journeys of purpose, as they were called. And originally they were defined as being within 1.5 miles of town centres to enable people to travel to school and to work from in the populated areas. So does the Minister agree with me that we need to revisit the definition of active travel? And if not, the strategic plan is messed up completely.
Minister to reply.
Thank you very much. I do believe that there is confusion over the active travel now, and if you like, some schemes and things have been thrown into the mix as active travel when it's actually they're just doing up, footpaths and things that shouldn't actually be in there. They're in there for, walking, just everyday walking and hobbies, if you like. But that will come into the active travel briefing.